Sunday, October 31st is here, and so are my best bets in the NBA. Happy Halloween to all the people celebrating out there. Be safe tonight. We have the usual slate coming up, but let's talk about yesterday. Our fourth straight winning day in a row, 6-2 on the day, winning back over 3 units. So hopefully we helped you out. The only negative is that our best bet falls for the third straight day. Mo Bamba over in rebounds. Never had a chance. Feels like whoever I'm throwing out as my best bet, guaranteed I'm jinxing them. So Mo Bamba had more fouls than rebounds at halftime. What can you do about that? Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Keep clicking that like button. And shout out to CJ for giving this winner to you guys in the comments. Heat money line. Never a sweat bet. So make sure you drop your comment below for your best bet today. Maybe you get shouted out in next week's video. But man, we also had some easy winners though. The Thunder's team total under. Never a sweat. Scotty Barnes continues to dominate. Rudy Gobert killed it. Giannis under in PRAs. Vucevic took a ton more shots than I expected. Still cashed his under. Great day. Our calling, my shot, got pretty close. DeAndre Ayton would have hit his over 14 plus rebounds, plus 220. And I don't necessarily count it towards my regular record because those are plus 220, plus 250 picks that really they shouldn't be hitting, and you shouldn't be putting a full unit on it. So we'll keep track of it. He had 12 rebounds midway through the third. Didn't play the rest of the game because they were blowing him out. So whatever. Let's get after it. Let's go for our 5th straight winning day. We only have 5 games on the slate as well, so don't force too much here. We only have a couple bets here. Listen up. Here comes my best bet of the day, and it's a Halloween themed one because what better day to do? Now, Halloween, we normally see werewolves, and that's a common theme. So I'd love to pick a Timberwolf, but sadly the Timberwolves don't play today. So we'll pick one of their relatives, a Fox. De'Aaron Fox, that is, over 10.5 rebounds plus assists, minus 102 on FanDuel. So if you don't have this one, this is an early game. It's at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if that time has already passed, zoom past this one, and hopefully we started with a W. But De'Aaron Fox, if you don't have his rebounds and assist line, probably would lay off this one. But Fox has hit this line in 4 of, or I'd probably go with his assists if you have it at 5.5, which is very juiced. Fox hit this over in 4 or 5 games this season. His only miss being against the Utah Jazz, who currently, as I am recording this, allow the fewest assists per game, second fewest rebounds per game to opposing point guards. Today, gets to play against the Mavericks on the road, which is good because the Mavericks on the road, much better than the Mavericks at home, much better than the Mavericks on the road, as Sacramento is the away team today. Now, the great thing about Fox is he could hit this over in just assists. He could go out there and go crazy, drop 11 assists, boom, cash it for us. He's averaging 4.4 rebounds per game, 6.8 assists per game this season. In his last 6 matchups for Dallas, he's hit the over in 5 of them, including 4 rebounds and 12 assists last year. Dallas has allowed the following to opposing point guards: 13 combined rebounds and assists to Kevin Porter Jr., 16 to Trae Young, 18 to Dejounte Murray. Fred VanVleet only had 10 missed on the hook. The only other team they played was the Nuggets. You don't really start a point guard. I mean, Jokic had 8 assists, so did Will Barton, and had 6 assists, and they only played 25 minutes. So I think you got a good chance here. You look at it, last note, Fox is averaging 10.2 assist chances per game, 6.8 rebound opportunities per game. The Mavs shoot the 5th most 3-pointers in the league, so we could see some long rebounds. Maybe Fox fills it up, and it's Halloween. You know we gotta have a Halloween theme, locking it in. Let's move on into another one. We're talking about some spreads and over-unders, but really I got 2 spreads coming your way, and I'll explain, and then 2 player props. Now, I'm taking the Jazz, -1. It's minus 110 at Caesars versus the Bucks. Now, both these 2 teams coming off disappointing losses last night. Jazz losing to the Bulls, and the Bucks losing to the Spurs. Now, neither team really looked all that good, but I'll choose the Jazz to bounce back in this one for really the reason that they're the healthier team at this moment. Mike Conley is questionable, but he does have player props up on FanDuel, so I do think it will be active, but the Bucks will still be without Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, and Bobby Portis, 3 of their top 7 or 8 guys from that historic playoff run when they won the NBA Finals. Now, Rudy Gobert, he loves waking up and playing the Bucks. In his career, he's absolutely dominated them in his games, and not necessarily player prop wise. I'm going to lay off his lines today, but the Jazz have won 4 straight games with Rudy Gobert in the lineup against the Bucks, and 10 of their last 12. Now, I don't think he's getting rested on the second half of a back-to-back. I like the Jazz to bounce back in this spot. It should be a relatively high-scoring game. The Jazz currently rank 5th in offensive rating, 3rd in defensive rating, while the Bucks rank in 14th in offensive, 19th in defensive. Giannis can only do so much, and with Gobert in there, it will be tougher for him to score. Now, he does have a 50-point game against the Jazz, but I believe that game was without Rudy Gobert. Gobert should be able to handle him somewhat. Give me the Jazz, -1 on the road. Now moving on to another spread pick, taking the Lakers, minus 11.5 versus the Rockets, minus 110 at Barstool Sportsbook. I wanted to give you guys the over-under here, and really I wanted to give you the Lakers team total over, or I wanted to give you a Blazers Hornets over in this spot. But currently at 5:49 a.m., yeah, I don't have either of those lines. The Bucks, they have caught out trick-or-treating already. They're already out partying. They aren't giving us any lines. I don't have any player props for the Lakers game, so maybe we'll add something as the day goes on. But the Lakers coming off a decent, all right win against an improving Cavaliers team, although the Cavs just got blown out. But they won by 12 points, and today, like I've said in previous videos, the Rockets are on the road, and they're terrible on the road. And if they don't win the game, they're probably losing by double digits. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, let's talk about this matchup. Now, the Lakers have won all their last 3 matches versus Houston. All were last season. They won them all by 11.5 or more points, except for one that was at the Staples Center where they only won by 2 points. So you're like, oh no, that's where they're playing today. Well, yeah, I won't factor that game in because the Lakers were without Anthony Davis and LeBron James, who both should be active today. I know Anthony Davis is probable. LeBron James is questionable, but I do think he'll be out there. In the road games this season, the Rockets have lost by 10 to the Mavericks, 18 to the Timberwolves, and their other 2 losses were 10 to the Celtics and 31 points to the Utah Jazz. Now, I like the Lakers. They're getting into a groove offensively, kind of getting Russell Westbrook to be much more impactful than he might have been through the first couple games of the season. And their defense, not the greatest, but they should be able to get it done for a Rockets team that can't buy a bucket and likely, you know, they're just not looking all that good on defense, and they struggle on the road. So I'll ride the home team this one, lay the points. It's a lot of points, but I'll take it. Lakers minus 11.5. You can take them at minus 12. That's fine too. Let's get into a player prop. Talking about Miles Bridges, over 26.5 points plus rebounds, minus 110 on FanDuel. If you want to take his PRAs, go for it. Some people don't have points plus rebounds lines. I don't mind his PRA line. The only problem is he's just not getting a ton of assists, and it's about 2 to 3 points higher. So I'd rather take points plus rebounds because honestly I think that has a little bit better of a chance of hitting than just the points, rebounds, assists. But Miles Bridges been on an absolute mission this season. He's grinding to get that contract extension. There are rumors that the Hornets only offered him around 4 years, $60 million. Yeah, sorry, his price went up. Yeah, he's been on an absolute tear. Bridges has hit this over not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 straight games. He's been on an absolute tear. Like I said, biggest part, he's shooting it a ton of times per game. He has 21 or more shot attempts in 4 of his past 5 games. The one game he didn't get 21 or more shot attempts, yeah, he shot it 16 times, and that's because he was fouled so much. He attempted 12 free throws, making 11 of them. Today he gets a matchup against the Blazers team, who really don't threaten me defensively. Robert Covington, decent defender, but maybe he guards someone like Gordon Hayward. But you look at it, this is a guy that's going to shoot a ton of times. Like this, he's been shooting it so many times. And you got a Blazers team currently gives up the most points to opposing small forwards, which is what, over 30 per game to opposing small forwards. Maybe that's a little bit inflated from Paul George, who dropped 40 on him a couple nights ago, but Miles Bridges has been shooting a ton. He's been pretty efficient, and I don't think the Blazers have a lot of rim protection, so I think Miles Bridges gets in there and maybe gets a couple dunks for us. So I'm locking in Miles Bridges, and that will basically wrap it up. Now we'll talk about calling my shot, which is always the final segment of the video. We've been pretty close the last 2. De'Aaron Fox finished 7 points short, and like I said, DeAndre Ayton would have cashed yesterday if it was a close game. But truthfully, the Bucks, like I said, haven't given me any lines, so I'm going to sit this one out. But let me talk about 2 things that I think have a decent chance at hitting today. Or I was considering Jalen Green to score 20 points. He's the rookie for the Houston Rockets, and I know I've picked against the Houston Rockets, but this is a guy that is shooting 16, 17 times a game. The only problem is he's only making like 4 of the shots. So all it takes is for him to have a good shooting game, and he'll hit this, and the odds, I'm sure, will be absolutely astronomical because his normal rebound or points line is like 13.5, and this dang Lakers team giving up a lot of points to opposing point guards and shooting guards. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Jalen Green score 20 points. I'll pin it in the comments below if I do ride with it. I also consider the Nets to win by 1 to 10 points, which is plus 210 on FanDuel. Now, the Pistons always seem to keep it close versus Brooklyn for whatever reason. So if you want to pick Pistons plus 12.5, go for it. But I'd rather just take the Nets to win by 1 to 10 points. But I'll lay off both of these days. Don't want to force that many things because, like I said, don't have a lot of lines at the moment of recording this. 5:53. But let's go for it. Enjoy Halloween. Let's go for 5 straight winning days. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. 2 NFL Best Bets videos popping up on the screen. Check them out. I promise you will enjoy them. I'll see you guys again in the next one. Peace.